What's up, guys? Vince the Anomaly here with Shane Faison. And we are back following up last week's episode of our MMA Grappling Trinity, where we went from positions to strikes. We're going to flow the opposite direction this time. So we're going to use our strikes to move to a more dominant position. So let's check these 5 moves out. Cool. So for our first way to use our strikes to open up our opponent and get to a better position, we're going to do something that you guys may remember from before. It's called the control drill. And I'm going to start using my strikes on Shane here when he's turtled up. Okay, so let's say I get Shane turtled up on the ground, I'm posted up on his head, and I'm throwing punches. Okay, these strikes here, he's going to have to do something. If he doesn't move, the ref is going to call the fight. So what Shane's going to do is start to roll onto his back. Ideally, he'd want to get in this guard position. But remember, from the control drill, we're not going to let that happen. So immediately, as he's starting to turn, I'm grabbing a leg, almost in a leg drag here, and I'm just stepping around so I can get my knee on belly right on Shane. And just like last week, strikes from this knee on belly position suck. Because 1, I have this control using this knee, and 2, I have the space to open up and really throw in some power shots and probably finish the fight. So use that position here from this turtle. Use your strikes to force him to give you a good position here where I can pass, get around, and really land some hard strikes. Fight-ending fight strikes.
Vince is always beating me up.
For option number 2, we're going to actually start here in the same position on that knee on belly. And Shane's going to be pushing off on my knee to make something happen, right? These strikes are going to be hurting. Again, the ref might stop it if he just stays right there. So he can't turn into me. His only option is going to be to go away, at which point I follow and I keep my control on top of Shane. Okay, if I want to stay on top, if I don't, want to get my hook in and take the back, what I like to do is thread this arm through, punch it down by his hip. At the same time, my legs are up, my weight is on top of Shane, and I continue to strike if I'd like to. If you guys want to start taking the back, another good position of control is I'm going to throw my arm through, put a lot of pressure here on Shane, start to ride the back, or I can start to seat belt, get my hook in, bring him over and take his back. Either way, guys, we're using those hard strikes from that knee on belly position to get Shane over onto his back, which is a more dominant position for me. Now let's say we're starting off here in this low mount. All right, so I've got these legs hooked up. Again, I'm not crossing my feet here. I'm not locking myself into Shane, but I've got my legs underneath so I can control. My weight and my hips are pressured down, and I can throw some punches here. But more or less, I don't have a lot of power. I don't have the leverage to throw these power shots from the top. Yeah. Okay, so Shane's going to be comfortable. If he's really good from the bottom, he's starting to get these elbows in, framing away, starting to kick his leg down, and he wants to get back out to half guard or just recover, get me off in one way or another. I can't just stay down here. Okay, I want to get to high mount where it's a much more dominant position. So what I like to do here, guys, is either get underneath Shane's head and start throwing strikes, or if you can't get there, if this guy's really good, he's moving around a lot, you can also bring your forearm up and keep him stuck by pressuring down with that forearm. Now I'm going to use my strikes to open up Shane to get to a better position. Notice what he did there. He doesn't like these strikes coming in. He pulls his hand up. Look at all this space that I just created. Now I can move to my high mount. I can collect that tricep. I've got my knee up. I'm up on my toes. I'm pinching nice and tight. Now I can really throw some heavy strikes, start working for submissions. But the whole magic in that, guys, was we were using our strikes to open up space to get to a better position. So last week's series, guys, we used this gift wrap position here to open Shane up for better and bigger strikes. Okay, remember, it is a flow chart. It goes both ways. So what we're going to do this time is get to that gift wrap position using our strikes. Let's say I've got a mount on Shane. I start punching. It brings his hands up. Now it gives me that opportunity to grab, thread it through, and get to our gift wrap. Again, we can start with more strikes from here. I can start working to take Shane's back. Either way, guys, I've worked from a position where Shane's got a little bit of defense. He's got his elbows in, he's blocking. I'm using my strikes to get control of the hand, and now I'm getting to a much more dominant position. Okay, so strikes to position. And if you want, you can go from this position back to strikes, and we can even transition this into submissions, better positions, but we'll cover that later.
That's for another video.
So for our last position this week, we're going to start from this half guard. Generally in half guard from the top, I usually want to have this underhook because that gives me control on Shane. Okay, that gives me control to start putting pressure, opening up with strikes, start working my passing game. Now if Shane has the underhook, this is where we get into a little bit of a problem. Let's say I start passing, he's gonna start sliding out the back door, and boom, we're back in a scramble. Not good for me, okay? So let's say I wanna get back to that good position of getting my underhook. Shane shoots it through, boom, bad for me. What I wanna do is start to use my strikes. Remember, it is MMA, we're not just grappling here. I'm gonna use my strikes to open Shane up to get a better position. So I'm gonna drive my head in, I'm gonna start punching with this arm. I can also post, start elbowing, and as soon as I start punishing Shane here, this arm, you're gonna see it almost every time, it's gonna slide back up and he's gonna cover his face, at which point we can regain control and get that half guard underhook back. All right, one more time. I'm here, Shane shoots his half guard, his arm underneath, his underhook. I'm punching. Now I'm controlling, and I'm working back to the position I want to be in. Okay? Strikes to position.
I now know what it feels like to be Vince's opponent, and it sucks.
Alright guys, so there you have it, part 2 of the MMA Trinity. Now you're starting to see that it flows in both directions. It can go from striking to positions, you can use your positions to advance and then use your strikes. But we're going to do more videos on this, so make sure you study it, make sure you understand it, just as a reference point if you're just getting into MMA or if you're transitioning from another sport. But until next time, I'm Shane.
Vince Anomaly.
Fight Tips for the underdogs.